The crown waits for no one, not even for love. The palace clock does not hesitate. It marks the hour with the same measured certainty it has kept for generations. Outside, Madrid moves in color and noise. Inside, time feels different. Slower, heavier, purposeful. A young heir stands beneath ceilings painted with scenes of triumph and turmoil. She is not thinking of romance. She is thinking of responsibility. It waits through youth. It waits through uncertainty, but it does not wait forever. The monarchy of Spain is not built on spontaneity. It is built on succession, on the careful transfer of symbolic authority from one generation to the next. The system depends on rhythm, preparation, oath, service, continuity. The crown moves forward, with or without the heart. At 2 minutes, the realization sharpens. The institution does not slow for personal timing. It does not accelerate for personal longing. It moves according to constitutional design. Article by article, ceremony by ceremony, expectation by expectation. Many imagine that an heir's greatest challenge is public scrutiny. It is not. It is alignment. Alignment between private emotion and public obligation. Alignment between affection and architecture. Because the throne is not an achievement. It is a structure. National identity is woven into these rituals. The formal oath before the Cortes Generales. The salute to the flag. The military formation that reinforces discipline over impulse. These are not spectacles. They are signals. Continuity is not abstract here, it is embodied in visible presence. At 5 minutes, the phrase returns. Not for readiness, for inevitability. History sets its own timetable. The heir may fall in love. She may hesitate. She may hope for ordinary space within extraordinary circumstance. But the institution does not pause. This is the living thread of continuity. The Spanish monarchy exists today because it adapted. It accepted constitutional limits. It surrendered political power in exchange for symbolic stability. That exchange created a delicate equilibrium, one that depends on predictability at the highest level. The personal life of a future queen cannot introduce volatility into that equation. In Washington, stability in allied democracies is measured not only in elections, but in institutions that endure without rupture. In London, the relationship between personal choice and royal obligation is a matter of lived experience. In Berlin, constitutional clarity is a form of strength. In Ottawa and Canberra, the crown remains interwoven with governance, its continuity directly connected to legal order. Global confidence is quiet, but it is observant. At 8 minutes, a quieter mystery emerges. What happens when the heart asks for time? The crown does not deny emotion. It disciplines it. Relationships are not forbidden. They are evaluated, assessed for durability, measured against the weight they will one day carry. Because a future consort does not simply share a household. They share symbolism. They represent steadiness at state visits, at diplomatic receptions, at moments of national mourning or celebration. Affection must withstand scrutiny, and scrutiny is relentless. At 10 minutes, the tension becomes visible beneath the composure. Imagine the scenario where personal hesitation collides with constitutional momentum. An heir uncertain, a relationship undefined, a timeline unaligned with expectation. The king cannot suspend succession. Parliament cannot ignore perception. The public cannot be left with ambiguity. Ambiguity invites speculation. Speculation invites instability. The institution moves to clarify. Not harshly, not dramatically, but decisively. 14 minutes into this reflection, the point of no return appears. If ever, love required delay beyond what continuity could tolerate, continuity would prevail. The crown moves forward, with or without the heart. That is not indifference. It is design. Spain's modern monarchy was restored to prevent fracture, not invite it. Every gesture of the heir reinforces steadiness. Every appearance communicates discipline. The future queen must represent cohesion in a society that debates, evolves, and questions. She cannot appear uncertain about the future she embodies. The loneliness, then, is not isolation from people. It is separation from spontaneity. At 19 minutes, another layer reveals itself. The modern world accelerates intimacy into headlines. Social media compresses time. Private companionship becomes public narrative in an instant. In the United States, the expectation of personal autonomy is paramount. In the United Kingdom, recent royal history illustrates how the pacing of personal decisions can affect institutional perception. Germany views constitutional predictability as national strength. Canada and Australia measure continuity against their own evolving conversations about monarchy. In this environment, delay can be misread. Hesitation can be amplified. The crown cannot afford prolonged ambiguity. Duty outweighs desire. Power is structural, not emotional. The survival of the institution is the ultimate prize. There will be evenings when the air feels the contrast between ordinary youth and extraordinary destiny. When companionship feels both comforting and complicated. When the realization settles that love, in her world, is never entirely private. But history does not adjust its rhythm. The oath has been sworn. The preparation is underway. The expectation is set, not impatiently, but inexorably. One day, a partner may stand beside her, fully aligned with the architecture of the institution. Approval implicit in stability, confidence reflected in markets and allies alike. The transition seamless, or perhaps the heart will require choices that the timeline cannot accommodate. If that moment comes, the institution will not hesitate. It will proceed, because a crown is not an accessory to personal happiness. It is a vessel of national continuity. The palace clock marks another hour. The city continues its pulse beyond the gates. Diplomats file reports. Legislators debate. Citizens live their lives beneath the quiet assurance that the future is structured. Inside those walls, a young woman carries both expectation and emotion. The crown waits, and history does not slow its steps. What stands beside her when the next chapter opens has not yet been decided. But the movement of the institution is certain. It advances, with or without the heart.